What's happening, everybody? What's happening, Pete Smith? Welcome to Pete and Joe, kicking off training camp, presented by OBR.com and the OBR streaming network. Whew. Pete Smith, it's been a long summer, dude. It's been an obnoxiously long summer, but it's here, baby. We got training camp. We got TC. It's kicking off all across the league. All 32 teams have reported. My man, how you doing?
No rest. What's really funny about this whole thing is seemingly there have been more arrests of coaches than players this offseason.
Yeah, there's been a few. There's definitely been a few. We got who was it? The Jaguars just let go of somebody, yeah? Is that who it was?
The Washington Commanders let go of their tight ends coach.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings just suspended either tight ends or DBs coach, both for basically the same thing. So there's been a good bit of action on that front.
Yeah, well, let's not forget the Vrabel escapade and now all the shenanigans we got going on with Shanahan and all the psychos talking about the cell phone.
Yeah, but he's got a human shield puppy to help him through it, so that's pretty good.
Very, very true. So Pete, we had some stuff today. We had some deals get signed. Let's start first right here at home. Denzel Ward, 2-year extension, $62.2 million. Now, to me, I feel like this kind of is Denzel's, going to retire a Brown contract. Let me ask you, that's an aggressive deal, and that's a lot of money. Would you have done that deal?
So I'm sort of torn on this. On the one hand, his play on the field is undeniable. Like it's really, really good. And I never got too caught up in the whole and I know it frustrates Denzel when people talk to him about when he suffers a head injury and they try to basically say you should retire and all this other stuff. Gotten to a point where he's like, I can handle it. I talk to doctors. I can run my own life. So I get it from that standpoint in terms of the risk. But honestly, again, he's not losing any speed. He's not losing any twitch. He's excellent man coverage. I think the fact that they have Tyson Campbell might extend his shelf life a little bit because Tyson Campbell's doing more of the physical stuff. So, I mean, obviously the money part, I need more details, but I can't argue with the sentimentality element to this because for, I think, both the organization to a certain extent and a large amount of the fan base, he's not Joe Thomas in terms of where he fits in sort of the pantheon of greats. Joe Thomas is one of the best left tackles ever. Denzel Ward is a very good corner. But I think from both the organization standpoint and a large segment of fandom, they are held in sort of similar esteem.
Yeah.
They've never been a problem. They are everything that the team wants them to be sort of on the field. Joe Bitonio would certainly fit in this category as well. And I think the Browns see major value in Denzel Ward going from the whole career in Cleveland. And the second he retires, he's going to get some kind of job with his team. It's inevitable, some sort of ambassadorship or some deal. He doesn't want to leave. I mean, and it also feeds into the whole thing. He from Northeast Ohio, played at Nordonia, played at Ohio State, played with there's just a lot there. And the last piece of this is just that Denzel does not want to leave. Now, could that change at some point? I guess. But again, I think it's a lot like Joe Thomas, where there may become a point, and obviously this depends on the structure of the contract, where they're sort of like, hey, we've got this call. The Broncos are calling. They're offering this. Do you want to go? And maybe Denzel Ward answers it differently, but I think Denzel is probably more optimistic than even fans to a certain extent as far as where this team is going, and I think he wants to see it turn around. So, and the other part about this is if he retires, he doesn't get to keep all the money. So that's the other part. I think that's the natural safeguard. So I get it. It's tricky on the details, but I'm fine with it so long as it leads to the next step for me, which is that they then get Grant Delpit done, which is the other deal I really want to see done. But I totally understand from the Browns standpoint. I'm not going to sit here and go, this was a terrible deal. Denzel Ward sucks. I hate this deal because it's just not realistic. He's a good corner. He's still a
Yeah.
good, and
Yeah.
those are. And as I bemoaned, I'm looking around the league, and I think there are fewer and fewer of these.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. One thing that I think we could point out about Denzel too, I feel like when he came out of college, he had that chip on his shoulder. He was a feisty player. He stuck his nose in there. He's been making a lot of business decisions the last few years, Pete. He's been a lot safer with throwing his body into harm's way. I mean, you remember, I want to say this was either 2019, I think it was 2019. It was the last game of the year against Cincinnati, and he just threw himself in the way of CJ. Who was that big tight end that you liked out of Oregon State? Uzoma?
Oh yeah, Uzama, who played for the Bengals. Yes, I did like that.
Yes, and that kid was a tank. And
He was
last game of the year, the season's over. Denzel throws himself straight into his hip, gets a concussion, just like that. And I feel like he's progressed beyond that as a player. He's a little smarter, and he is cat-like quick. He's so good in coverage. We have the money. Things are starting to finally loosen up next year. It makes sense. It's one less thing that we're going to have to fill.
Well, and that's the part of this is like, do I think the Browns need to go into the next offseason and find draft corner help? Yes. Yeah. But it might not be as high as it otherwise would have been with the Ward thing. Now, if we go back to the draft 2018, I would have loved the Browns to trade down and draft Jaire Alexander. That was my guy, who was chippy and mouthy and all these other things. And it's honestly surprising. I thought Jaire Alexander would sustain longer than Ward did. Now, Jaire Alexander has been all pro.
Yeah. But he fell off quick.
But then, yes. He went from great player to now he's
on 3 teams in 2 years.
And then, this most recent thing is he took a break from the Ravens to sort of focus on his mental health, which more power to him. But like Denzel Ward is I think this year 9 for him. He's been just rock
solid.
And the other part about that is for the people who are worried, to your point, if you want to credit to this, his last couple seasons, he's been healthier than he has been in terms of missing games. So I'm here for it. And I think there's an element to this where everybody wants to look at the NFL like the NBA, and that everybody's a trade chip. And you always want to get off these guys and maximize value. And just the way the game is played and the brutality and everything else with it, like when you have these guys who make it through and are genuinely super popular, both within the building and then with the fan base and everything else.
Yeah.
It's really hard to sort of be like, yeah, we're done with you. Now, do teams do it? Sure. That was a Belichick trademark. Get out a year too early rather than a year too late. But I don't think the Browns are sitting there worried about this. I think they're looking at this as I don't want to say it's in response to Myles Garrett, because I do think those are completely separate situations. But I do think in terms of the timing, it works. There are all these people who are like, well, the Browns traded Myles Garrett, they're tanking. They're not. And this is more evidence of that, because if you were going to say we're going to trade everything that's not young, Denzel Ward, Malik Collins, and whoever else, you would try to get those guys out and get more youth. Denzel Ward is valuable as one of the guys in the back of the defense that can keep guys straight on that end. So I just think there's a lot of value here. I think it's a smart play. And the other part I like about this, I like the fact that Andrew Berry's a prick, because there are 2 DBs, well, really 3, sitting in the AFC North that are quietly hoping for contract extensions. One of them is Joey Porter Jr. Now, Joey Porter Jr. and the sort of whatever name they have for it seems to be sort of a conditioning test, but not really for the Pittsburgh Steelers, pulled up with a back issue. And immediately a whole lot of people assumed that the back issue was,
they hold him.
I need my contract.
Yep.
So he's obviously one guy who's waiting for a contract. So this is going to only make Joey Porter Jr. agent ask for more money. That's a win. And then the other, you can sit there and point to 2 guys. You could say both Dax Hill and DJ Turner. Now, if I'm betting, I think it's DJ Turner that's going to get the deal for the Bengals. And tightening the screws on the Bengals always makes me happy because they're
Mhm.
in
That's the last team that wants to do it.
well, they're in parts unknown right now because they never move cap. They've never done some of the things they're doing, and now you're putting them further into uncomfortable areas that they have to operate. And I'm here for that. So I'm always a big fan of getting ahead of contracts in terms of guys that are going to impact your division. And you can take a longer term view and say Nate Wiggins or maybe someone in the Ravens that I'm not thinking of. But yeah, Joey Porter Jr. is right now. DJ Turner might be another year, but either way, it is one more contract in front, pushing up contract demands. I'm all for that.
Yeah, amen to that. And look, at the end of the day, like you're absolutely right. And a lot of people do look at it like an NBA type thing that you got to move on an asset, or move off of an asset before it depreciates, especially if your timeline's different than that player. But there's some times where like the stars align and it just makes sense, and this is one of those cases. He's a local guy. He very much enjoys being here, and he's amazing for the locker room. And we're already going through a transition, losing Miles. It could have been so easy for Denzel to stand up and be like, hey, I've given you 9 good years. Get me the hell out of here. I want to win. I want to change the scenery, yada, yada, yada. He didn't, man. He towed the company line. He said exactly what you wanted your veteran defensive leader to say, and he backed it up and he signed an extension, Like this is a good day for the Cleveland Browns and a great day for Denzel Ward.
I think some people were starting to pause because he didn't attend OTAs, and he's always been at OTAs.
Yeah.
And I think, we've sort of talked about that was more of a solidarity thing with Jim Schwartz and being disappointed that he was gone. Not that he was going to be like, get me out of here. More of just saying, I did not appreciate this, so I'm going to skip OTAs. And I don't know if he'd even put it like that, but there was some element of that where that was his sort of show that he was not pleased with that, but he wasn't going to like turn around and be like, get me out of here. But I think when you go to OTA, and this is the problem, this is sort of the weird thing with OTAs. You sit there and you go, Myles Garrett's never at OTAs. So you sit there and go, well, that's just normal. Denzel Ward has been at OTAs like every single year, and all of a sudden isn't. All these people are like, oh, what does that mean? So not a big deal. Ultimately, they got the deal done. And yeah, look, I mean, I it's great for the Browns to get to open training camp tomorrow and be like, boom, here we go.
And Pete, how nice is it that Denzel's not going to field, do you think you're going to get traded questions all through camp, all through the first part of the season, and then up until the trade deadline? That was coming without this extension.
Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if he says something about the Delpit thing. That he basically says, hopefully we get player X done, which would naturally be Delpit. He's the next guy, but he may say something along the lines of whether he specifically says Delpit, he may just say, look, man, I'm hoping we get more of these guys locked up because Ronnie Hickman could theoretically be in that camp. We'll see where Isaiah McGuire ends up. Like, we've got, Denzel Ward, very diplomatic in terms of he's always naturally pretty optimistic. So I'm sure he's going to sort of look at this and go, this defense is very good and all these other things. We can keep this thing going, get more players to stay or keep adding whatever.
Well, I want to go ahead and highlight this because I think this is a great couple of comments from Phil in the chat. You got to keep the legacy guys around to show the young guys how they want it done and how to do it. And then it's good to show, again, with Phil, the young guys that the team's going to be loyal and it's going to take care of their guys. There's 2 great points. I love that. And I mean, honestly, I feel like Andrew Berry has been absolutely dynamite these last few years, man. I really, really just excited about the way he operates and how he takes care of guys. I don't know. I'm fired up. Oh, speaking of Andrew Berry and all the stuff he's done, Myles Garrett trade, I think we know now why Jalen Carter wasn't offered from Philadelphia.
Well, yeah. I mean, he understandably, obviously a different position, but the thing that made the Jalen Carter thing was really interesting is obviously he's a freakishly talented player, but they had guys behind him. So like Jalen Carter signs an extension, $156 million or whatever, insane amount.
4 years.
He and the big nose Jordan Davis are locked, but they have a draft Twitter win behind them in Moro Ajomo, who myself and I know a lot of people at draft Twitter really liked him, and they ended up going in round 7. Has been really good. So there was a world where you could try to convince the Eagles to say, "Oh, give up Jalen Carter. You can get Myles Garrett, and you can just slide into Moro Jomo." So now this would also set up a world where Moro Jomo is going to probably leave via free agency. Obviously, assuming Andrew Berry is still the GM, and I have a very difficult time believing he won't be. It could be an easy connection, especially if Malik Collins is going to walk.
Mm-hmm.
See what that happens. I'm not prognosticating. I could just see a world where Malik Collins is 31, 32, and he's like, I want to do this thing now, and I don't know that these teams ready for it. And the Browns may look at him and go, we feel the same way. I could see them make a big play for a guy like a Jomo to sort of fill that void. A Jomo's going to be right in the heart of his grade. Now, obviously, it's going to be expensive, but the Browns will have more money.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them making a play for that guy who fits sort of where this team is next offseason.
Okay. How about Brian O'Neill from the Vikings catching a 4-year, $96 million contract?
Listen,
pretty good, but that's
offensive linemen are so hard to find. Like, and you're right. Brian O'Neill is a good player. Do you sit there and go, I feel like Brian O'Neill is an $86 million brand, whatever the real deal is?
Yeah.
We'll see. But no, and this is where I sit here and go, yeah, this is why you have to hit this position over and over and over again. Because if you get Austin Barber to be Brian O'Neill good, you are thrilled, and he's ultimately going to get paid. This is like the crazy part with the whole Jedrick Wills thing. If he was just functional, and obviously he's a big part of this, he would have gotten a decent amount of money. And people, I'm thinking at the time, like, Jedrick Wills is going to get paid by somebody. It's going to be more than anyone. People are going to be like gasping at how much money he's getting because it's so difficult to find these guys. It's the same thing.
Well, and think about it, Pete. Even after taking the year off and having all that bad publicity, he still got visits. He still had people reaching out and bringing him in the building.
Well, we see it here. I mean, we see guys that you see like get looked at or tried out or what. I mean, Greg Robinson was that guy. The Browns signed him and started him. Like, it is so difficult to find those guys. So, like Zion Johnson's a good example, and I think he's going to be fine ultimately. But like, you're going to take the bet. You're going to make the bet on those guys that they're going to get better. Hopefully, that's the same deal with Fano. Now, obviously, I think Fano will be a very good player, but even if he's average tackles get a lot of money. And then the dude who signed with Carolina, Walker, was the weird aberration where everybody assumed, this is just what tackles get, and then he got like $4 million. I'm still bewildered at how that worked out. But this is sort of very normal.
Yeah, and it still surprises me that nobody else was in on that for that price tag. That just seemed shocking to me. Although there probably could have been other suitors. Maybe it was he didn't want to go in that city, or he didn't want to play in that system, or who knows, thought they were going to draft somebody. But then Carolina turned around and drafted Monroe Freething in the first round. So what are you going to do, man? Who's the other one? Let's talk about Vita Vea. Now, probably not for the Browns, right? I want to say he's over 30. I want to say he's like 31, 32. I could be mistaken.
We'll turn 32 this year.
He is an absolute anchor. I love watching him play, Pete. I'm scared to death. So who was it? Kevin Patra on NFL.com wrote an article with like 7 destinations that he could go to. And you're talking about the Bills, the Bears, the Packers, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Giants, and the 49ers. I mean, don't you think Baltimore could come calling? I mean, Baltimore had that deal for Max Crosby, pulled it, and then got Trey Hendrickson for no draft picks. So they've got, I just like that scares the bejesus out of me.
He has a no trade clause. Allegedly, reportedly, wants to go to California or and this is the weirdest, or the Raiders. Clearly wants to go to the West Coast.
Yeah.
I get California. All the teams in California are good. I do not get the Raiders, but whatever. Now
they just gave a center $30 million. I'd want to go to the Raiders too.
But I look at this and go, great. Get him out of Tampa. The Browns have to play him week 2. Send him to a team out west. The Browns don't play this year. I love that. Now,
Yeah.
do I want to see him on the Rams? No. I need the Rams to have awful, awful things happen to them. But could I totally see the Rams do it? Yeah, I absolutely could. I could see them give up on, I don't even know what give up, but
Fisk.
move move Fisk. They already traded his buddy and
Yeah.
say, I mean, this is how the Rams operate. We want to win now. Vita Vea is a win now player with Myles Garrett, Byron, Murphy or whatever the outside edge rusher they have. Kobe Turner's a great player,
I
and
didn't
just be
even
like,
think about the
good
rest of
luck.
the Rams.
Yeah, and Aaron Donald coming back maybe for
Yeah.
half season. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aaron
like
Donald, Vita Vea, Myles Garrett, and
yeah.
then
So
rotating Turner and Bryant Young.
yeah, so or I could absolutely see the Chargers do it. Now,
Yeah.
I actually do think that would be a consequential move for the Chargers because of what they need. They need a big time nose to be able to play split high safeties the way they want to, and Vita Vea is that guy. So, I think my guess is Vea would probably rather go to the Rams and get to play more of an even front because then he gets just wreak havoc as opposed to being sort of a 350-pound, 340, 350-pound like anchor, and that's basically all he's doing. I think that's probably his preferred situation, but we shall see. I could see Seattle do it and just say, screw it. We've got great defensive tackles. Why not add one more?
Yeah.
San Francisco is a weird one. I know their fans and media are sitting there going, yes, we need to do this. We've been missing out on all these things. We need to sort of up our game. And he fits in their age range of at least 31. I mean, they love old guys. So that part of it is sort of appealing as well. But yeah, get him out of Tampa. I'm tired of looking at the schedule and seeing a bunch of 330, 340-pound guys that are going to be lining up against the Browns early on. I'd love nothing more than get Vita Vea out of there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, this is one of the usual negotiating tactics that are usually followed up by a new contract. Do you think that's going to happen, or do you think this is I just went out of Tampa, get me out of here?
It doesn't sound to me. I feel like if he was going to get a new deal, he'd have one.
Yeah, and
Just
it'd be real funky if they cut a deal with him for above market money and then still had the stalemate with Baker. That would be a very interesting locker room dynamic.
But it's just like it's another one of these things. Is like, why did you keep Todd Bowles?
Yeah,
is if you trade Vita Vea and you're sort of doing this thing with Baker Mayfield, everybody's gonna be asking the question, why did you keep Todd Bowles another year? You basically kept him hoping that he'd somehow make it work and get you in the playoffs and win the division again. It could be way more difficult with Vita Vea. Now, I can certainly understand from Vea's standpoint that he doesn't really fit the schedule the Bucs are on right now.
Yeah,
neither Mayfield really, but obviously quarterback age is a little bit different. But I mean, I'm not going to say that it can't get done. I think obviously Vea's camp is frustrated that they haven't gotten more movement. Maybe this will help get more movement. But I think it's more likely that the Bucs will try to get the best deal possible and not mess around with it too much. But we'll see. I think it's pretty wide open on the way this could work. But again, that no trade clause makes it really interesting. And obviously, if you are the Bucs, you would, particularly in the draft we are about to go to, you're going to sit there and go, man, I'd really love to get a first round pick. Well, the Rams don't have one. And, is that realistic to get that? I kind of still think it is. I mean, Dexter Lawrence went for 10th pick, obviously, similar. Obviously, he's a little bit different with Myles Garrett, but obviously for multiple first round picks. So that's the other part is where's the price point that's going to make sense. Now, if you're a team like the 49ers, you're going, screw it. We're going to pick high 20s at the earliest, and we're not very good at drafting. No offense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yes, offense. You guys suck at drafting. Then maybe you're sitting there going, hey, we suck at this anyway. Here, take our pick.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's a really good football player. And anytime one of those guys, does the whole jaywalking or hitchhiking thing and once out of town, like everybody's antenna goes up. This could change the landscape of a division or I mean, hell, the Super Bowl eventually if he goes to the right team. All right, well, let's talk about we got a bunch of guys opening camp on the PUP, right? And I'm talking like around the league, like Micah
I was gonna say the
Parsons.
Browns have one.
Yeah, and the Browns one is Malik Collins. Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty damn good, man. It's a knock on wood, Pete, but only one guy on PUP, no arrests. What kind
Yes.
of offseason this Cleveland team have? This
Well,
is
listen,
fantastic.
my recommendation is you go in first day and you turn injuries off, and then we're off and rolling. But yes, speaking of the 49ers, I don't know the severity, but I believe Romello Height got carted off already. Like this, all this stuff terrifies me.
Yeah,
In terms of injuries, because it's stupid stuff.
San Francisco's
Not stupid in terms of like they're doing dumb stuff, but like
blue.
stupid, inconsequential, or non-contact, or whatever, just stuff that you like hate to have happen.
Yeah,
And the season's over before it started. So, and the Browns obviously dealt with this last year. Martin Emerson Jr. going down was a big issue for the Browns,
yeah.
obviously. So, and they can't really afford that. So, I desperately hope they can be healthy, get lucky on that front, be smart, whatever it is. If they're children, they need to sacrifice whatever it takes to get through healthy. That would be great, because obviously Todd Monken's plan is to run what he believes is going to be a tough camp. Now, again, there are ways to try to protect yourself, keeping guys up off the ground, trying to have controlled periods and stuff like that, which limit the amount of guys going to the ground and those things. But like, guy falls weird, knee buckles, whatever, like that stuff. There it is.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, though. I mean, typically with Stefanski, we ran a lighter, softer camp, right? But then you've got the Steelers and Ravens notoriously run physical camps fully padded, fully hitting, all that stuff. So it's like you see examples of where it works and examples of where it bites a team in the ass, and it's just sometimes you just got to hope to get lucky. For you personally, I mean, what would you rather do? Would you rather run your guys through a physical camp and get them ready for the rigors of an NFL season, or are you all about preservation and be at your best on Sunday?
No, I want them to run a physical camp, and then what I want them to do is get their work done in practice.
Yeah.
Go hard practice, control periods, eliminate try to eliminate all the risk factors as much as possible, and then do not play those guys in the preseason. I would absolutely model my approach after what the Rams do. That is how they operate. They practice hard, and then those guys do not play preseason. I don't care that I don't get to see them play on TV and all this other stuff. I don't need to see like Denzel Ward play in preseason.
Yeah, I just want to see the young guys anyway. The regular
and
season,
particularly for this team. Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm also sitting there going, please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt for those guys. But still, get your work done, work hard, and then give them time off. Or what would be the preseason game. I think that's your best play. Build them up the way you need to, get them physically ready, and then get your work done there. Be as hard as you need to be for that. Obviously, the August 20th joint practice is going to be a big deal for them, but like, you eliminate nonsense of guys going to the ground, and then special teams scenarios that can obviously create some car wrecks that you'd rather avoid. So yeah, that's how I would want to do it as an NFL coach.
Okay. All right. So going back to that, the PUP list, the reason I brought that up, so Pittsburgh put Joey Porter Jr. and Jalen Ramsey, but they did not put Broderick Jones. He's cleared and he's ready to go for camp. Is that surprising to you?
I'll be curious if that's actually true. I like, not to say you're wrong. What I'm saying is I will wait to see him on the practice field doing something before I get, because obviously you could theoretically still put him on that list or something else, depending on they may just come to a point and just go, no, we're putting him on IR, and we're just like, it ain't going to happen. So I will wait to see Broderick Jones practicing. Now, having said that, the way they've built up their line, Broderick Jones is effectively a backup anyway. So that's the other part about this. So even if he's practicing, maybe they sort of manage how he's operating, because their focus has to be on Fatanu, and they have to get Max Ahanator ready to go, because those guys are going to play. So we'll see.
Does it make you wonder about Jones and maybe getting a good a a good review medically for the fact that they were gonna take Mekhi Lemon. Like Maxi Honachor was a reactionary pick when they lost Mekhi Lemon last second. So it's like, part of me is like, oh, they clearly know there's something up with Jones, but like they were gonna go Mekhi Lemon.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that interesting.
Granted, the Browns situation was a little bit different because they obviously just took another receiver, but the Browns were perfectly content to take Mekhi Lemon and took Casey Concepcion. Now, to your point, in this situation, it's Mekhi Lemon to a tackle. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they just played their board. They just went to the next guy. So I mean, I think it's that simple. But clearly, and the other part about that is like they have another tackle that could theoretically play. I think that the Steelers were always going to take a tackle. It's just a question of when. You know, maybe they would have like taken Austin Barber really early, or maybe they would have taken Markel Bell earlier than I certainly would have if they had gotten Lemon. Maybe they would have maneuvered a trade. But they do have Dylan Cook, who's not bad, and maybe that would have been their play, along with sort of a mid-round type developmental player. But once Lemon goes off the board, he's next up on the. He's next up. They take the best player on their board in that case, and then it sort of reverses. So what they did, because what we see them do in the next round, then they went and took Jeremy Bernard. So I can't help but think if they had gotten Mekhi Lemon, they were going to then, whether it was second or third round or some kind of trade scenario, they would have still gotten a tackle. It's just a question of how it was going to work out.
Do you have any reaction to the notion that the Pittsburgh Steelers traded George Pickens for Drew Allar in a 2027 7th round pick?
That's a Browns trade. That's historically. I mean,
I read that today, and it hit me pretty hard, dude. I was like, "Whoo!"
No, I mean, like, obviously the Browns have the egg on their face from the Deshaun Watson trade, which will live on forever. But like, it is really difficult to underestimate just how bad that trade was. George Pickens was unbelievable last year, and granted, this year he could lose his mind at some point. He's on the franchise tag, other stuff. And maybe there's a world where he plays on the tag and then leaves. But let's just say that George Pickens keeps his head on straight this year, and they get 2 unbelievable seasons of George Pickens, and he walks. So they're going to get 2 unbelievable seasons of top-level wide receiver play, and most likely a third-round pick back down the road as a compensation thing. Like, just an unbelievable bad trade. A 1-year run of George Pickens, that's a bad trade. But like
he was better last year. We had 3 third-round wide receivers in a row. We took Schwartz, we took David Bell, and then we took Cedric Tillman. Their career numbers do not come close to what George Pickens did last year. Like, if you want to talk about bang for your buck, goodness gracious.
Yeah, so like I said, this is one of those trades you sit there and go, I've seen this before, and it's usually the Browns that have done it or some other – like this is not the trade the Steelers make. Yeah. They don't miss this badly. Now, granted, they will sit there and go, this is our culture, this is how we operate, this is all the other stuff. It's worth it from our standpoint to get rid of it. But you want to ask Steelers fans about how they feel about that? Like, it's not good. They're not happy about the situation. Even if they like Allar, they sit there and go, man, that's a lot to – just the idea of trading –
a lot of pressure to put on that kid.
Yeah, and that like you know, if you're the Steelers fan or you would do this thing. Well, if Allar was great that last year, this trade would look great. And maybe he can reclaim that former glory, and then this is totally going to work out and make sense. Now I'm way lower.
The next time you make a analogy and you put me and Steelers fans in the same box, we're going to have issues, Pete. I'm just letting you know right now.
But keep going. You have to do a lot of work. Certain person we both know. Well, if you flip the picks like this,
there's some mental gymnastics that can happen there.
Yes,
I agree.
Like the mental gymnastics some people would have to do with this one are brutal because and the problem is like the huge issue is the Steelers needed receiver help.
Yeah. Well, not just that. They made that trade when Aaron Rodgers had nothing. Like, he was the guy. And they traded him for assets the following year. It was crazy.
No, they obviously went out and got DK Metcalf, but you sit there and go, well, what if they just kept both?
Yeah, I forgot about DK.
Now, they made that choice. I'm happy they did. If they want to get rid of any other players that I really listen, man, why don't you trade Nick Herbig?
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I would take Highsmith, dude. I like Alex Highsmith. Always
Well,
have.
I think his
I mean,
game.
I hate him, but he's good.
I think he's really good. He's an obnoxious player to deal with,
Yeah,
and I think his game is going to age well.
agreed. All right. Well, so I mean, we got camp kicking off tomorrow. We're like the official quarterback competition where we're gonna have that stupid completions, attempts, all that stupid stat tracking in practice.
I listened to Coach Riz rip that thing apart today.
Did he? Well, all
He
right.
did.
It's about time somebody stood up for this. What? Why was it? Was that not favorable to Lenora Sellers in camp or something?
No, no, he just he was making the point that without context is meaningless, and then he used an example from last year where Kevin Stefanski at one point did a Hail Mary a drill. Well, I mean, you call it a drill period, a Hail Mary period, and guys were throwing it, and the ball was getting picked off, and these idiots were charting this as well. These guys are throwing a bunch of picks when they're doing Hail Mary practice. Like, it's stupid. I listen. My whole thing is, if you're going to do this stupid thing, at least include yards, because what I have seen at times is like 7 for 8. It'd be about 7 yards.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, look, it's practice. Like they were doing it for mini camp. Like what are we doing? There's half. I don't know. I mean, look, I can understand that there's clearly a demand for it. People are going to eat it up. They want to see everything that's going on. They want to see the ups, the downs, all that stuff. But it's like, it's you just got to let it play out, because let me ask you this. What in your mind is going to be the determining factor for this whole thing? Do you think it's going to be preseason games? Do you think it's going to be the joint practices with the Bills? Or do you think it's mostly going to be how you handle yourself day to day, how you do the detailed stuff, how you dot all the I's and cross all the T's and do everything Monday through Saturday?
No, my deadline right now, I'm operating on the idea that's going to be August 20th, which is the joint practice. Like, I think talking to people in the building, just my sense of it, I think that's the earliest we're going to know something. Obviously, that's a big practice. It's the only one they have. I think that's going to be where this thing gets settled pretty quickly. They will have played one preseason game at that point, so nothing will be. They play the Bears first.
Wait, did you say the Lions or the Bills?
Bills.
Okay. Sorry, I misheard.
They played the Bears the previous week, the first preseason game, and again, my hope is that nobody plays other than the young guys, and then that Thursday they will have the joint practice, and then the following that Saturday they have the second preseason game. My guess is that Monday is when they announce it. Maybe they'll do it earlier than that, right after the joint practice, but I think they will wait for that Monday to make the announcement and say this is the guy. We'll see what that really means, because if this goes a certain way, both these guys are going to play games, and it's not going to really matter. But that's the deadline I'm operating on.
All right. Now, we've just to round out the quarterback room, we've talked at length of how we think this is going to be a preseason where Dillon Gabriel puts himself back on the map. I feel like he's going to
cook. I think he's going to murder people in the preseason.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that too. But I'm super intrigued to see Taylon Green. If for no other reason, it's just so much talent. I'm not expecting it to look good, but I'm just looking for fun things that we can use, man. Like, I want to see how good he is with his legs. So if it is the type of thing where it's, first and goal from the 4, hell yeah, plug him in there. I want to see if he's going to be a legitimate weapon. Because look, if he's just a big kid who can run and he's not a weapon with the ball in his hands, don't take the ball out of your quarterback's hands. Don't take Quinshawn off the field. Like, run your offense. Get your playmakers the ball. Like, I feel like Back in 2009, right? We absolutely needed Josh Cribbs to pull something out of his you-know-what every single Sunday and make it happen on offense. That's not going to be the team this year. Provided they stay healthy, that's not going to be the team. We have playmakers. We have guys.
Yeah, so if it's up to me, and it should be, every preseason game, Dylan Gabriel gets the first half, Dylan Green gets the second half, unless I get tired of it, in which case Dylan Gabriel goes until I get tired and I just want more Taylor Green.
Yeah.
That's like that is what I would do for every preseason game. Is just all I want is those two guys to play. I want to watch Taylor Green just do Taylor Green things. Hopefully, I'm hoping he's improved. I'm hoping he's got more confident, and then at some point he's just going to take off and nobody's going to catch him.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's go over some of because I was thinking about it with all our rookies, right? I say we go right down the line and we talk about who is their number one competition for playing time, right? I mean, obviously we'll start with Spencer Fano. It's him and DeJuan Jones going head to head. I think everybody's comfortable with Spencer as the number one tackle now. Do you think they're going to start off with DeJuan as the running with the ones, or do you think it's going to be a competition, or do you think they're just going to roll with?
It's over. It's Fano. I mean, Todd Monken has already said he knows who 4 starters are.
Okay,
Fano in that list, so it is over. Now, I think DeJuan Jones can be a very valuable player for this team.
Hell yeah!
I absolutely love what Spencer Fano does. I think they're happy with what he's doing, and they want to see him get every rep possible to get him up and going. Like, you can sit there and you obviously can do this with the quarterback and go, man, they need to make a decision because you want to sort of rally around this guy. I don't care given the 2 options, even though I'm hoping Shador wins the job. Fano's different. Like, it is so difficult to get offensive line reps because of how campus was changed by the CBA. They used to have practices, which offensive linemen need. They need all the work they can get. So unless, knock on wood, Spencer Fano gets hurt, every rep he can get, he's got to take as many as possible, particularly against Verse, deal with the power element. Against him, Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire, get accustomed to all of it and prove he can be that guy. Because the run game in particular, obviously that's a pass element, but like the run game in particular, if he is what I think he will be, he is a weapon, and they want to utilize that as much as possible. And that's the problem. It's like DeJuan Jones to this point, I know they're working on it, has been a nothing burger in the running game, and particularly the things they want to do. Spencer Fano can do so much stuff. You're just like, I cannot wait. Like, I cannot wait to see this dude go second level on a trap and just have Quinshon Judkins running right off his butt and getting a big play.
Well, I feel like DeJuan Jones is like every bit of a basketball player playing football because it's the feet, it's the movement, it's the finesse aspect of the game where he absolutely thrives. But when you got to get your nose dirty and you got to throw punches in the trenches, that's where he struggles. I mean, I remember seeing things. They were doing some sort of like strength test last year in training camp. They did like the team site had like a video on it. And I remember Shelby Harris said something about like DeJuan having a low score and like laugh. Like you could just see him like laugh because like he's just not a powerful guy. Like he's the size of a mountain.
Was it the grip measure thing that they do?
I think it was the grip thing. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it. Like that thing is interesting. I don't know how necessarily translatable it. No, it's really nice, especially for a tackle, because then you can get into the chest and grab the chest protector and never let go. Like it's certainly valuable, but I don't sit there and go. But I get your point.
Yeah,
hoping that is a piece of this, that he is strong. I think the team is impressed by his strength at this point. Obviously, he's so young.
That was what I was going to say. Does that worry you at all? Just because for a 21-year-old kid at the point of attack in the NFL, man, that's a tall order.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. And the thing is, like, part of it is because I just in learning about him, I think he's got the mentality to deal with it. Like the ups and downs are not going to be too much for him. Like,
well, and look, there's going to be downs. Like, because this fan base, the first time he has a bad play in a big moment, it's going to be the usual, nonsense. But like like growing pains are fine. Like I have no issue if he gets overpowered occasionally as a rookie. Like this is a long-term thing. This is, I mean, knock on wood, provided he stays healthy, this is going to be the worst he is at professional football until his skills start to decline. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he moves like a rugby, he moves and plays like a rugby player.
Yeah.
Just moves differently than most offensive linemen do. He's really athletic. And again, his mentality, he struggled as a true freshman and it just motivated it. And he seems to roll with the punches and he seems to he embraces the challenge that's being thrown in front of him. And I think you saw that with how he, people sit there and go, "Oh man, TCU beat him up." Well, like, did you ever see him back down? Did you ever see him like pout or feel bad for himself? He doesn't have that. Neither does Austin Barber, to his credit. I really like both those guys in terms of that. They both, get back in there and go. I think that's really important for that position, to your point, because you are fully exposed, eyes are on you, you screwed up, and we've seen it. Bad body language. Jed Wills, not all his fault, but like he just had a knack for just sort of looking, like he was defeated. I think that's such a huge component in it. So I do not worry about that. And in fact, I sit there and look at Fano and I think, there's a possibility he's not quite done growing yet. And he's just going to fill out and get stronger. And I'm imagining, I'll be curious to find out what he did in his break, because he may have been just trying to continue to improve his strength and just get comfortable with what he's trying to do from that standpoint. So no, I'm all aboard.
All right, well, let's move right down the line to KC Concepcion. He had a nice spring. He definitely flashed that speed. The concerns with the drops and everything, I mean, that's always going to be there because people like to hold on to stupid stuff like that. But like, that's not anything that I really am concerned about. So what's the plan with KC? Do you think we're going to start him off in the slot? Do you think, like, I assume he's behind Judy right now, or is he competing with Boston on the other side? I figured it'd be Boston competing with Cedric Tillman, and then you're going to have KC behind Judy, but probably the top option out of the slot.
Yeah, I mean, I think they aspire to get him to be the full-time Z.
Mm-hmm.
And when they are in 3 receiver sets or more, I think he will be the Z. But when the goal for him is to sort of earn being over Jerry Jeudy in 2 receiver sets at that spot. Off the line, the motion guy, constant on the move, being put in position to either get open or manufacture touches or all the other things he can do. I don't expect, not to say he can't do it, because I'm sure there will be situations where they do put him on the line, but that's going to be his primary role. Whereas Boston, look, I mean, the goal, the aspiration with him is that he replaces him or is the X.
Yeah. So let me ask you this now. And I mean, this is just me personally. I don't foresee it's going to be very, very hard for KC to overtake Jerry Jeudy, especially in this first year. I think Jerry Judy's a good ball player, Pete. Like I think KC would have to be absolutely exceptional to overtake Jerry Jeudy this year. But do you think it's closer than that?
No, I don't disagree with you. What I think the Browns are going to do, in as much as they can, because they're obviously going to be in situations where they run 2 receivers. Yeah. But I think you're going to see a whole lot of 10 and 11 personnel with this outfit, because that's where their strength's at.
Yeah.
Are there going to be situations where they have maybe 2 tight ends, 2 running backs? Yeah. Or 2 tight ends or whatever. Some combination of some backs that give you 2 receivers on the field? Sure. And that's going to be the interesting part. But yes, to your point, because I think part of that is it will allow Judy to take up those reps, and then KC Concepcion to be fresh. Not these could be necessarily tired, but like to be in the return game, because I think that's going to be a big where they want to utilize them. I think that's sort of the balance. So, look, I mean, it could be a situation where they get this thing going. It's a hot hand deal, but my expectation is you're going to see a whole lot of it. If this goes the way I think it will, you're going to see a whole lot of Boston, Concepcion, and Judy on the field at the same time.
You think Judy drops into the slot in that scenario?
He could. I mean, look, they're going to jumble up where they line these guys up constantly. Just
Yeah.
what everything I've seen to put stress on the defense, to try to find matchups, do all those
Yeah.
things, and then pre-snap motion and all that stuff's going to change the picture. But yeah, could I see Judy end up in the slot quite a bit in that scenario? Sure, I could see any number of ways to do it. I could see all of them on the same side in trips. Um, it's just a question of how they want to attack a certain opponent, what matchups can they sort of derive out of it, and finding the weak spot and taking advantage of it.
Okay. Now, Denzel Boston, would you say his direct competition is Cedric Tillman, or do you think it's Isaiah Bond?
Um, right now, it's still probably Tillman because Tillman he hasn't got a ton of pressing camp, but he's really good at being a possession X.
Yeah.
Like he understands how to use his body, he understands how to get to spots where he needs to get to, and he catches the ball. He moves the chains and does the things. He's big, he block, he do all those things. So that is where they want Denzel Boston to get to. So yeah, I think that's more likely situation now. Could it get to a point where they move off of Cedric Tillman and incorporate Bond there? Sure, but in that scenario, it would not shock me if they get to a situation where like Judy is on the line and Bond is off the line, or some variation of that thereof. Maybe Bond's on the line as well, but they will mix and match that responsibility depending on what they want to do.
Okay. How about I was thinking about this. What about like putting Fannin in as a big slot and then maybe having, Stoll at tight end as like kind of your primary running formation, so to speak, or when you're looking to salt away the clock a little bit. Because Fannin did a good job, in the slot last year, but also, moving and motioning as a lead blocker at times, and I've never had a desire to put him on the end of the line and be a third tackle anyway. So do you think something like that makes a little bit of sense?
Good. They could also use, they could go Stoll at Y. Fannin is sort of that F type player, and then like Carson Ryan is H back all at the same time to get as many big body blockers on the field, even if they're not traditional, other than Stoll, in terms of how the angles that they're attacking to create movement in the run game. Keeping in mind that if they're trying to run a lot of outside uh, concepts with moving linemen, that may work well with a guy like Fannin. If you're trying to get outside like that and you want to utilize Fannin as like on the crack block, like that's probably a good use of him. So yes, that could work. I mean, obviously I would love to see a world where they can put multiple tight ends in there, but certainly you want Fannin on the field because you want that meaningful threat that keeps teams honest.
Yep.
As well, they could run play action.
All right. How about let's talk about E-Man, right? We're going to see soon enough, but what do you think their plan is going to be with him? How do you think they're going to deploy him right away? I mean, we've talked about in the past, like, are they going to stick on one particular position? Are they going to move him all around like they're going to do with Delpit and Hickman?
They claim they wanted him to master one spot before they move him around. Now, he wasn't.
Where does he start?
Yeah. My guess, I'm totally going to be wrong, but my guess is that he and Hickman are going to play the deep two split field safeties, and that Grant Delpit's going to be the guy who moves around. I'm not saying that that's, like I said, I could be dead wrong, and they go, nope, we're going to keep Delpit back there, and we're going to put E-Man over the slot and do that. But just in terms of like evaluating his skill set, I think he's really good at playing deep and playing up and attacking downhill. Also, I can't help but remember how good Delpit was when he could be utilized as a slot player or just a joker in that LSU defense. And I could see in a world where obviously he still could be covering tight ends and they want too high, but also they can blitz him. They can do all this other stuff and use him as a mobile weapon. They want to use him as an extra box defender. They can do that and keep those other guys back and patrol the middle of the field or attack or whatever and do some stuff from that. Now, where I think they want to get to ultimately is in a world where they can roll their safeties, shift responsibilities on the fly, depending on what teams do, because if they change the picture or they motion to a way where, like, I don't want to get into a world where, like, the slot safety is trying to chase across the formation. Hopefully they're rolling the safety and they have to make the adjustment to have the other guy roll down and take that responsibility. I think it's the only way you can operate that. But also I want, just in terms of how you disguise coverages, you don't want the defense to be able to know ahead of time, well, Grant Delpit's always going to take the tight end. It's one of the things I did not like about the defense under Jim Schwartz. I get it. He's really good at it. But I'd like to give them more to think about. And I think that's where they want to get to. But at least initially they claim they're going to put E-Man at one spot. Now, he didn't do much in OTAs. He's basically at rookie camp and then was out the rest of it. How has he done in the classroom? I don't know. Obviously, I think they're going to want to see it on the field before they, make a grand move or anything. But, like, there's the possibility that he's really, really good on understanding what he has to do. He will prove it, and then hopefully, if that's the case, then they can sort of shift into the other stuff that I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, let's roll that along to the third rounder. Browns traded down, then traded back up and took Austin Barber. We spoke about Austin Barber just a little bit ago. You like the toughness? Well, I mean, he's essentially going to be competing with DeJuan for the swing tackle job. But I guess they could maybe give him some time at guard if they don't love what they see from Leviston, or if Tevin Jenkins gets banged up and Brailsford's not ready, so Elton's in at center. What do you think the plan is going to be for him? You think they're just going to hope to shelve him for the year and just let him develop?
They certainly treat him like he's a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously when they get pads on and, they want to, if they're not satisfied with their options, at some point he's going to get in there.
Yeah.
See what he can do. How much is going to be the question, obviously, but, like, obviously, he's in a tough spot unless somebody gets hurt at tackle. So his fastest path to the field is theoretically a guard. So it's just a question of when is he going to get that look and how serious of a look is it? And how much of that is a function of Austin Barber is impressing that much and we got to get him on the field versus we don't love our situation at right guard and we are desperately trying to find an option.
Yeah. That's fair. It's funny. It's not even that he's been an afterthought. It's just like the four guys taken ahead of him were so good and so popular, they've overshadowed everything. But I mean, realistically, a third round pick that you're trading up to select, I mean, that's your right tackle of the future. Like, that's how I view Andrew Berry looking at this. Like, this is a guy who's going to start as soon as he's ready. Like, that's the plan.
That seems to be how Todd Monken and company are talking about him, that he's a tackle. Yeah. Everything else is sort of an extra. So, yeah, I think that's where they want to go. Certainly, I think his skill set is ideal for what they're building. Better than Titus Howard. But obviously, Titus Howard's getting paid quite a bit of money. Titus Howard is readier to step in and play. But I'm very curious to see how Titus Howard gets going. And he's a guy that, again, if it's me, he's getting a ton of reps in preseason, hopefully staying healthy, and just seeing what those guys can do. Hopefully he's able to be the road, that athletic, mauling presence that just gets after it in the run game and then holds up well in the pass protection. That's going to be obviously the challenge for him, is getting accustomed to the types of pass rushers he's going to face. Struggled with Ruben Bain, phenomenal college player, but, like, that's every week. So how does he adjust? How can he sort of make that transition?
Okay. Now, how about jump to the fifth round, Parker Brailsford. Now, this is probably the guy with the clearest path to a starting job out of the, I would say from the third round down, right? Not much in his way outside of just his youth, right? And just kind of, if they feel like he's not quite ready, then they'll put Elton Jenkins in there. But, like, I don't really view Luke Whippler as stiff competition,
Well, hopefully for Whippler, I mean, he's not placed on PUP, so hopefully he's ready to go. He needs to
Yeah.
be able to get out there and compete. Um, Look, I think they don't want to be in a world where they put Brailsford in initially, but if he's just so undeniable, they will
Yeah.
live in the world and be happy with it. But they wanted him to gain some weight. That the question is timeline on that, how realistic it is for him to do that in the way they want. He can be able to hold up against big boy rushers, or can his athleticism and everything sort of make up the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for Brailsford, I think it comes down to him being just so good that they're like, well, we have to put him in, and we're going to move Jenkins to right guard. Otherwise, I think Jenkins is like start at center.
Yeah. Well, the reason I brought that up and kind of emphasized that was I heard Terry Pluto the other day, and he was raving. He was saying that the Browns were thrilled with him,
Mhm.
and they really like where he is in the spring, and he's got a really good chance to win that job.
You know, you see the same thing I do when you look at the schedule.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
big people for like the
Yeah.
first 7 games, and that's reality. And I mean, again, that's why I think he needs to be undeniable, because I think you don't want to get in a situation where like, well, we're going with Parker Brailsford, and then
You got to
he's
walk it back 3 weeks
against the
later.
Jaguars, and like, well, we got to put Jelton Jenkins at center and then do the thing. I don't think that's a likely scenario. I think it's more likely that they, again, unless he's just so good that they feel they have to. I think it's more of a case of we're going to see how this works with Jenkins and insert right guard and see if that holds up. Either at that point, Brailsford is going to sort of work his way in and be good, or they're going to say, well, this isn't working with Elton Jenkins. We got to move on the other way. Like, that's obviously not a good scenario. Or if they go, well, Jenkins can't do this, we need to move him to right guard and see if Brailsford can hold up better at center. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing for me. I just, there's a practicality element to this, which is really difficult to deny.
Yeah.
People in the NFL that are, you know, big, strong, have mortgages, kids, all this stuff, and they are looking to take your livelihood every play.
All right. Well, let's keep on moving. We got Justin Jefferson, the linebacker out of Alabama. Now, I believe he's just going to slot right behind Quincy, and he's going to be a special teamer and just back up the weak side linebacker spot. Does that sound about right, or do you think they're going to have him compete on the other side with Buki Watson?
In terms of the special team stuff, obviously that's the big thing for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to work at will. I also don't rule out the possibility that he's going to be some sort of specialized player that is there to spy in however you want to describe a modern spy.
Yeah. Kind of
Because
do some of the stuff that JOK used to do.
yes, because of how well he handles on the move.
Yeah.
Because you watch him against some of those teams, and he's difficult for some of those mobile quarterbacks to just get away from.
Yeah.
And it would only be sort of specialized packages, I suspect, at least initially, unless he's just really impressive. But I think it comes down to there may be situations they put him in and go, you are doing this, and this is all you're doing on this particular play. And that's a world where I think they can get into and have him play a role. Everything else I think is going to take time.
Okay. All right. And look, that's fine and dandy. You're talking about a kid taken in the 5th round. He's a little undersized, but the speed is definitely there. And he's very confident. He's a very confident kid. I like his moxie, so to speak. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what he's all about. And now here's another good one for you. Your boy Joe Royer.
Joe Royer is going to get every opportunity to be something for this team.
Yeah.
Virtue of the way their roster's set up, by virtue of his age, by virtue of all of it. Like, the situation is there for Joe Royer to get on the field and do stuff now. Can he do it? To be determined. The Browns like him more than I do. I hope they're right. I hope he can be that pass catching threat, tight end 2 types that maybe is a little bit better blocker than I give him credit for. We shall see. But like I said, he could not ask for a better situation in terms of getting drafted to a team that it
Needs
has
him.
every incentive to put him on the field. But they look, I don't want. I'm not going to get into a world where they need to find out what this kid can do, because I think that's ridiculous relative to this. But I do think they want to find out if they need to go back and get another Y next year. That is where I'm at as we sit here today. I'm looking ahead to next year, and I'm saying at some point they're going to need to get another real Y tight end.
Yeah.
Royer's going to get the opportunity to prove to the Browns, to prove to everybody that they do not.
Yeah, agreed. And look, at the end of the day, he's 6'5". He's what, 245, 247. He's a nice athlete. He's got nice hands. But one of your issues is the age. If he's not ready right away, it's like, what are we doing? So that's going to be something to watch for sure.
It's just one of those things where, yes, you sit there and you go, well, tight ends take time and all that stuff. Like if you're the Browns,
how much time are you going to give him?
Oh, not only that, but even if he's 21, unless he's doing something really remarkable early, you're just naturally going to say, well, we need more here.
Yeah. All right. Well, next one down the line is our boy Taylon Green. Now, this one made sense considering our quarterback situation and where we got him in the draft. But at the end of the day, with how we all feel about 2027 being the year that we're going to just go get this guy in the first round, this almost feels like a lottery, a $1 scratch off that we're just lighting on fire. I mean, he'll be in the system. He'll be in the organization. He'll be given, the duration of his contract to develop. But, it's tough to see him getting a legitimate shake moving forward.
I still love this pick. I absolutely adore the idea behind it. I don't know if he's ever going to amount to anything. But, I look at him compared to some of the guys that are going to come theoretically being talked about for next year, and I'm not sure he's that. I'm not sure he's far off at all. And you got him around 6, so unless he's unable to learn, he seems really bright. If he can just take a slow development, even if you got to go and get quarterback next year, who cares? If Taylon Green can prove to be a good quarterback alongside that guy, and a guy you can put on the field and use as a weapon, and a guy that. He can do a lot of stuff for you that I think is valuable. But if he does develop down the road and he becomes Colin Kaepernick, that's a world-changing element for the Browns.
Yeah, agreed. And then last but not least, your boy Carson Ryan. Is Mike Burton his chief competition?
Maybe. I don't know. Because I think he's going to make the roster.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to back up Fannin in certain respects. If Fannin were to get hurt, they either junk it up or use Carson Ryan in at least some of those elements. He just does a lot of useful stuff. Can play out of the backfield. Can do running back route stuff. Except he's way better in terms of his flexibility and be able to adjust the ball. Seems to have really good awareness, good hands, all this other stuff. I just think he's a useful player. I think he's going to be on a lot of special teams, which I don't think Michael Burton's ever going to be on. Yeah. I think Carson Ryan is the type of player who makes himself very indispensable pretty quickly, in my view. Now, I could be wrong about that, but for a 7th round pick, I think he was a really, really strong pick. I'm hoping he proves me right.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Willie Mandingo Winchester, if Shador fails, I think Taylon Green should get a chance before any newbie does. And I got to tell you, I agree with that, Willie. I feel like it could be a very similar situation to a year ago where, Stefanski said this was a redshirt year for Shador when things started off, but the way the roster kind of was dismantled around him, and then, the Dylan Gabriel concussion. I mean, look, if neither, Shador or Deshaun grabs the job by the horns, then I absolutely think we'll see Taylon Green this year. Do you think so as well, Pete?
Everything with Taylon Green depends on, can he make himself viable enough that he's active on game day? If he's able to do that, they will find a way to use him. I just cannot imagine he wouldn't.
No.
Inside the 10-yard line. He can do all the stuff they did with
John. No, but we're talking about taking over as the starter.
No, I mean, If we get to that point, sure,
Yeah.
go nuts. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you may as
Well, I mean,
well.
realistically, that's kind of a direction we're all planning on us going. I think there's a contingent of fans that I'm a part of that has a very high hopes for Shador. I'm really excited to see Shador with this opportunity, and I think Shador is going to be a player. I really do. I don't know if it's going to be in Cleveland. I just think the kid can play in the NFL. But the Taylor Green thing is super intriguing, and I mean, if you told anybody, even maybe not the staunchest Shador supporters, but if you told anybody that Shador just wasn't it, nobody would be shocked. Nobody would be shocked. Like, it's not going to be like some devastating, like, oh my gosh, the whole plan's unraveling. The plan is for 2027. Shador's a lottery ticket that we hope hits. Taylor Green's the same thing.
Yeah, I can't look, man. We'll see. I'm just not convinced that Shador's going to be bad this year. I think it's going to be
either.
I think it's more of a question: is he going to be good enough? I don't think he will be.
Yeah.
I don't think Shador is going to be good enough where you're like, well, we're good, but I don't think he's all. What I see, and we'll see. I mean, obviously, I'll be there tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. He had that the mini camp. He looked really strong. I'm curious to see if he can build on what he was doing and sort of go off and running at this point. But I just think as a simple distributor of the ball and just getting it to his playmakers and not doing stupid stuff, which to this point in camp he largely has not been.
Yeah.
I think he'll be okay. Obviously, okay is not enough. I don't think at any point you're going to go there. I am fine with an okay quarterback. No, you're going to sit there and go, I want to get more. But like, there's certainly a place in the NFL for okay quarterback play. And it's just a question of where that is. Could it be here? Sure. He could be the backup next year with another quarterback, along with Taylor Green's the third string and a rookie.
Well, and I was going to say, he has the opportunity, even if he doesn't play so well that he grabs hold of the job and we don't take a quarterback in the first round, but he does have the opportunity to be the guy that is the guy until the rookie overtakes him.
That's the other part that people, I think, ignore is obviously we don't know who they're going to get as a rookie. Yeah. But, like, I don't want to just be like, we're shoving the kid in the pool.
No.
Like, and you'll get this argument from people, well, they only can get better from playing. Well, Sam Darnold will argue that is not true. Sam Darnold, who went to San Francisco and said, I benefited greatly from being a backup and just learning football, which then he carried over and won the Super Bowl with Seattle. And obviously we saw it here in Cleveland, how stupid that can be. Deshaun Kaiser saying, I'm not ready, and them going, yes, you are. And he wasn't. Like, obviously every kid is different. You got to coach them to that way. What's best for the player and what's best for the team. But you can absolutely learn the position while sitting. So, yeah, there's certainly a world where Shador could be good enough to caretake the position, hopefully win some games, get the quarterback, allow them to get comfortable and confident, hopefully ready to go. If that's 4 games, if that's a whole year, I don't care. But I want the quarterback to be put in the best position possible to succeed, as opposed to, well, we took a quarterback, so you better get out there.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. Look, out of our options for this season, we all know what Deshaun accomplished earlier in his career, right? But recent history suggests to me that he's not as accurate as he used to be, and I wouldn't consider him an accurate quarterback anymore. He's got a nice strong arm and he's a nice athlete, but I think Shador's a more accurate quarterback. I think Shador throws a very catchable ball, and if he can clean up those mistakes, I think Shador is a perfect fit for the skill guys that we have on offense right now, because a lot of them are just run and catch guys. Just hit him in stride and let him go.
We'll be very curious to see what Ward's arm looks like. Watson's arm look like in camp, because like maybe it was overtraining, but there were a lot of balls he was just leaving short that were dying on him. So,
well, Mary Kay reported that he's got like camp shoulder or whatever it was. He's got like tendonitis and soreness and all that other stuff.
Yeah, camp shoulder. In other words, reconstructive surgery and everything.
Yeah.
Else. So exactly. Maybe I will be surprised he's just gunning the ball around, but I would not shock me at all if it's just not what it was. So that's another element to seeing how this thing's gonna go. But like, yeah, I've seen him leave balls short, have balls die on him, other stuff. So we'll see what that looks like. Obviously, look, Deshaun is welcome to prove me wrong. He won't, but he's welcome to try. But I just my there's no future there. There's no present.
All right. Well, on that note, I texted you about it earlier, but I would like to go over some of these 2027 quarterbacks. I saw a Todd McShay video of him talking about his top 10, and I wanted to run some of that by you because I saw some funny stuff on there that I wanted to yell about. And then I put together a list. Did you make a list for me, sir?
I've got like 4 guys at the top that I really like, and everybody else is sort of we'll see where they end up.
Okay. Well, that's fine. We can all right, well we're gonna go right down the line. We're going to go our number one picks. Or do you want to start from the back? What do you think will be more?
If you're asking me, I would start from the top because those are the guys I actually have a real opinion on.
Well, then let's start from the top. Okay. We're gonna do McShay, we're gonna do you, and we're gonna do me. Okay.
Right.
Todd McShay's number one quarterback is Dante Moore out of Oregon.
Do not agree.
I don't either. Who do you have as your number one quarterback, sir?
I have Arch, but he got a way to go. But I'm betting on. I'm again from where we are right now. I'm betting on development. I'm not taking them as they are.
Yes,
I'm betting,
but that's all of them.
Yes.
Every single one
Yes.
of them. Yes.
So I think Arch is very, very good. Mobility, arm, all of it. He's got to put together a tremendous season.
Yeah.
But I go to the Michigan game last year. He was spectacular in that
Well,
game.
let me ask you real quick. The way you just said that, I don't think he needs a tremendous season. I think he needs a good season that's better than last year and just shows that he's improving. He's on the right track. Flash the skills, the big body, the athleticism, the playmaking. You don't think so?
He has 2 of the best receivers in the country.
No, of course, of course.
He has maybe the number 1 tackle in the country. He
Yeah.
is so loaded with talent. Like, if not now, when?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, there's lots of stuff that goes into that, though. It's football. Like, coaching's important. Everything's important. Health is important. You know? I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying.
I'm not like let me clear. I'm not going to sit here and go, well, if he doesn't play well against Ohio State, it's over. But I'm saying on the whole season, he's got to be really, really good. This team has to make playoffs. This team has to be a factor. He's got to be the reason, a driving force into that. That's not to say he won't ever be a good prospect from that, but there leaves a lot to sort of develop at the next level. Like, and you're talking about taking this guy number 1 overall, or teams trading ungodly amounts of draft assets for this guy to be that guy. Like, you cannot make this into, well, he's not really a finished product.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like Turtle has said right here, and look, I've never been one of those guys like, oh, if his last name was different, he wouldn't be this or he wouldn't be that, right? But when it comes to this position, when it comes to that last name in this league, I don't think there's a general manager in the National Football League that will look his owner in the face and say, no, we're not going to draft Manning. I like this Dante Moore better, or I like Darian Mensah better, or I like whoever better. Like, I don't think anybody in the NFL has the stones to do that, Pete. He would have to be bad, and he would have to take at the very least a step back, like a like legitimate, definitive step back to not be that top pick. It's just when you factor in the skill set and the talent and the last name, he's going to be ready to go on a lunchbox as a rookie. That last name that's a big deal. And if you're going to gamble on traits, I want it with a guy coming from that lineage. Like, I get it. I get that he's far from a perfect product. I get that, especially in the beginning of last year, he was not a good football player and he struggled mightily. But man, the trend and the direction that he's headed right now, I think is going to continue. I don't think it's even a question he's going number 1.
I am not as convinced as you are. I think he's very talented, but like, And yes, there are certain owners that could be enamored with him. The Browns certainly have one of them.
Yeah.
But still, I think if there are better quarterbacks, I do not think we saw this. Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, great example. Jaden Daniels was not thought of as highly as other quarterbacks. Washington loved him, and they took him.
Yeah. Well, no, look, I get that. It's just I'm merely speaking from. Look, the NFL is a business, right? But it's also about taking calculated risks. And a quarterback at the top of the draft is always a risk. And the easiest conversation for a general manager as to why did I pick this kid? Well, the 3 Mannings before him, were either Hall of Fame level or Super Bowl winning guys. He comes from a great lineage and he has every single thing that you would want physically. He comes from a big time program. I don't even, I can't imagine somebody taking Dante Moore over him. I just can't.
Wouldn't be him.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be Dante Moore.
All right. Well, let's go to number 2. And this is what prompted this whole thing.
Did you conclude Coach Riz's list?
I did not. I don't think he has a list.
Oh, I thought he did. Because I thought his.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Norris Sellers very high on it.
I just know Norris Sellers is number 1. That's all I know about Coach Riz's list.
It just tells me he has a way of doing it, which is traits based. If that's his contention, which fine.
Yeah.
He and I come from different schools on that. I am not a traits based guy. Not to say the traits don't matter, but one of the big traits, if we're going to call them traits, I think one of the big traits I would include would be accuracy, production, efficiency. Those things matter.
Yeah.
As opposed to, well, he can throw the ball real far and he's big and strong and fast, which all those things are true for Lenore Sellers.
Yes. Agreed completely. But having said that, we'll go number 2, Todd McShay, Lenore Sellers, South Carolina. Pete Smith, who's your number 2?
Is Todd McShay sponsored by an alcohol company? Come on.
His boy.
Wow, to be fair, he can say the exact same thing about me. He can say the same thing about me. I will go Darian Mensah here. I think everything is set up for him to just absolutely crush this thing this year. And he was really good at Duke. My controversial statement on Darian Mensah, you can take this 2 ways. You can take this, he's what you want Shedeur Sanders to be, or he's what Shedeur Sanders could have been if he was developed properly. Which doesn't guarantee him anything going in the NFL, but I just think in terms of where he is right now, he is so far ahead. He knows exactly how to operate certain things, ball placement.
I was just going to point that out, Pete. I don't know if people realize how good of a passer this kid is.
Oh my God, his back shoulder stuff is incredible.
Yes,
it's just the way he can seed the ball is impressive. There are people who go, "Well, his arm's not that great." Well, he throws with so much touch, which is, and we'll get to Dante Moore.
He's got nice zip on his passes, though, Pete.
Yes,
he doesn't have a weak arm at all. He's got a nice arm. He just doesn't have a howitzer. He's not Caleb Williams.
I think the biggest thing, and I don't think Darian Mensah is immobile. I think he can move well enough.
He moves when he has to.
Not again, in that sense, he's not unlike Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
To me, he just operates the quarterback position in a lot of areas the way you want it to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I have been pleasantly surprised watching him, and he is very high on my list as well. Although this one, Pete, I got to tell you, this is going to be my what the hell moment. Drew Mestamaker is my number 2.
We went
oh
big.
My God.
We went Mestamaker,
dude. I'm absolutely. If Arch Manning wasn't in this draft, he'd be my number 1, and it wouldn't even be a question. He's 20 years old. He's 6'4". He's got a thick frame. He's probably going to top out at 240 or something. He's a nice athlete. He runs well. He's got a cannon. He throws with touch. I understand that North Texas is North Texas. I love what I see. My goodness, man. Give me that kid on the bench for a year, and I'm good. That's Josh Allen. That's Justin Herbert. That's that skill set, that size. Fire away. Crush my dreams.
No, I'm just saying he's going to get a really early opportunity to prove if it's like real. Week 2 for them, September 12th, Oregon at Oklahoma State.
Good. That's
We'll be
awesome.
watching. I will absolutely be watching
awesome.
that. Yeah.
Hell
like,
yeah.
So you got all obviously they had the coach,
Mhm.
I think multiple wide receivers, but at least one really good one. A running back. A lot of these guys transferred in.
He
So
should be
Oklahoma
comfortable.
State's going to take off. And I don't think Oklahoma State's going to win, but it is in Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
That could be
all he has to do is throw some punches, man. Make it a game.
And the thing
Good
is,
performance.
the one thing he will do, he will throw punches. So I'm excited to watch him. The thing that hurts me is the rest of the schedule is just it's I wish there was more. And also, I think he's going to stay another year in college.
Yeah, he definitely might. I'm just as it stands right now.
They play Tulsa week 1. Tulsa's fine. Murray State week 3. West Virginia, we'll see where they're at. UCF, at Houston, Colorado, at Iowa State, at Kansas State. They finally get Texas Tech in November, which will be a great test for them.
Yeah.
Arizona State, we'll see, and Kansas. It's set up for them to go on a big run.
Yeah.
That's why that's why prognosticators are saying that they have maybe the best chance to be the most improved team in the Big 12.
Yeah.
If this dude sneaks in the playoff, that could be really interesting. But no, listen, he's going to be appointment viewing for me because of all the stuff you do.
Yeah, a lot of fun, man. Just a big, fun, talented kid. I'm all about that. All right, let's go. Number 3, Todd McShay, Sam Leavitt, LSU. This shocked me. I don't see it.
Well, I think he's betting on Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
More than the combination of two things. Sam Leavitt is a legitimately really, really impressive athlete. And Lane Kiffin. I think that's the calculation he's making. Now, maybe he likes it. Maybe there's more to it than that. Obviously, I've mentioned this before. The way he left Arizona State needs investigated.
He's 6'2", 200 pounds, and he
also
doesn't
think he's
seem very big.
I think he's hurt right now too. But pressure's on, man. They have to be good immediately. They've got a ton of weapons. So we'll see. Again, he's a freaky athlete with a ton of ability. Arizona State could not be happier to see him leave. But I think that's the bet you're making. I think you're making the bet that he's going to become, the next Lane Kiffin quarterback in the NFL. Now, again, I think he's a redshirt sophomore, so I could easily see him stay another year at LSU.
I think he needs it. He plays a wild brand of ball.
Erratic. He's very erratic. Bets on himself. Does some stuff that you hate.
Yeah.
So again, when you watch these guys sort of rank them, you see patterns of how what they like, which is fine. That's not a knock. That's me just recognizing these are what these types of guys like.
Yeah. All right. How about you? Who's number 3? We got Dante Moore yet?
No. Jade Mayava. I'm going all in on Jade Mayava.
I like that. He's a little lower on my list, but go in on him. Why do we like Jaden Mayava so much?
He's big. He's strong. I'm very fat. Look, man, obviously I love Mekhi Lemon, but you watch throws from Jaden Mayava, and Mekhi Lemon makes these incredible catches. The ball is in the one place it has to be.
Yeah.
He throws accurate passes. He throws catchable passes. He is one of the most aggressive quarterbacks down the field.
He seems a little erratic. Plays some hero ball. Plays out of structure quite a bit.
Yeah, he can do a little bit of Kalen Williams thing rolling to his right. Now I'm curious to see if his speed translates enough to do it. But he's got that sort of momentum slide where he slides right, and he's very dangerous. He's ridiculously good, or I don't know about ridiculous. He's been one of the better college quarterbacks on 3rd and 4th down. And he's not they're not chippies. They're like 3rd and 14, 3rd and 15, and he makes them look easy. I'm betting on not only the kid, I'm betting on Lincoln Riley. I'm betting on the guys that they've brought in. They got the transfer receiver from NC State. They've got a bunch of talent they've had there. So if you're sitting there going, well, he's a product of McCollum, and he's got a whole new supporting cast to prove it with. Their schedule is awesome in terms of like games you're going to want to watch. Ohio State, Oregon, down the line. I think they play Michigan and Illinois again.
Mhm.
Like, and there's pressure on Lincoln Riley to win this year. There's obviously pressure on this kid to be the next Lincoln Riley quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he's going to take off this year. And again, if I'm looking at it from Todd Monken's standpoint or just from me, I love how aggressive he is down the field. He pushes it. He trusts his guys to make plays, and he can pick up occasional plays with his legs. He's really, really good. I just love what he's doing. I will be very curious to see if he can back it up. But I think USC is going to be good this year, like real good. So I am all in on Jade Mayaba.
All right. Well, number 3 for me, we covered last round with your number 2s, Darian Mensah. Big fan of that kid. Love it. It's you know what the thing is, Pete? It's the same thing that I said about Shador being the best fit for our skill guys right now. A dude like Mensah who could just drop dimes like that is so intriguing to me. That's one of the things that I like about Julian Sayin for this team too. I certainly don't want them to take Julian Sayin, but I could at least understand if they did, because I like the weapons we have. I like the idea of a true facilitator, a guy that can get these guys the ball in the best possible time and position. I think Mensah could do that. I mean, maybe not right off rip, but sooner rather than later. All right, so number 4 for Todd McShay is going to be CJ Carr from Notre Dame.
Again, look, I'm not high on redshirt sophomore quarterbacks. Not to say they aren't talented. I just don't think they're ready for the NFL. And I think the incentives in the college football say to them, stay in college, get paid a ton of money, get to be big man on campus, do all the stuff, and get to play.
Yeah.
High leverage games and all these other things. So I understand it. I want to see CJ Carr in another full season, because last year, obviously, they had Jeremiah Love. Also, the schedule was super front loaded. So they played Miami and Texas A&M, and then that was basically it.
Yeah.
So I want to see him be the driving force in the offense. Again, I don't think he's JJ McCarthy, but I think there's a JJ McCarthy element where they need him to be that dude quite yet. So I'm hoping he grows into it this year. But again, he's a redshirt sophomore. I think that's tricky. And if you're at Notre Dame, man, like it's all there for you. So I suspect he's going to stay. Unless Notre Dame wins the national championship, I could see where he leaves. But even then, you still get paid a boatload of money. Be another year of that dude.
Yeah, and just at the end of the day, you're just more prepared for the next level with another year, and by that point, probably $8 million or $9 million. With the way these things keep bumping up. All right, so how about who's your 4th guy? Who's the last guy that you're, as of right now, comfortable taking at the top?
This is where I put Dante Moore.
Okay.
His arm is not good. It's not great. It's okay.
Why is he so beloved, Pete? Because I like him. I think he's a good player.
He's really smart. He plays smart. He understands time, understands where the ball needs to be. He understands what defenses are doing to him. Gets the ball out quickly a lot of the time. Like he's got a really low time to throw relative to the other group, relative to this group of quarterbacks. He does a lot of things well. Unless the dome is getting built faster than I realize, I worry about guys like him translating to the AFC North.
Yeah. Well, even with the dome, Pete, you're still going to Cincinnati, to Baltimore, and to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Now, I don't. Again, this is if I look at it from Todd Monken's offense, I don't love it. I don't know that that's a preference for him. I think he's fine in a lot of ways, but just the physical tools leave you wanting more. And in that sense, I'm very curious to see if he was able to sort of add any juice this season, if he's gotten stronger, if he's gotten a little bit bigger, all that stuff, and if he's got better. And the other thing with him is he's got to get better in the pocket. He's got to get better dealing with the blitz.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of he's more athletic than people give him credit for, but he does a lot of dumb shit when he decides to run, where he will put himself in car wrecks, and you're just like, what is this? So, like, there are plays where he takes off and he gets huge gains, but there are also a number of plays where, like, he's just trying to pick up the first down and insists on getting a car wreck on plays he doesn't have to. So, I think he's a very good college quarterback. Like, if he can make some big improvements, I think he can certainly elevate himself to being a high level prospect. But as it stands, I'd be more inclined to him if I was a team in the South or a team that plays a whole lot of dome football. Again, he does a lot of things right. A lot of this comes down to taste. I don't love it.
Yeah. Well, I've got him number 4 on my list, but it's pretty jumbled. I don't think there's much separating him from Carr or Sayin, and obviously Maava, Sorsby, and Sellers are all physically superior. I don't know. Like, I like Dante Moore. I don't love Dante Moore. And for the kid, I hate that he's from Northeast Ohio and people are like, oh, you got, it's that extra layer of pressure that people wanted to throw on Drew Allar as well. It's just like, it's hard enough to be an NFL quarterback to, go back to your hometown and have that stupid thing hanging over. I don't know. I don't really see it with him. I think he's a good player. I don't know that I ever view him as like a potentially special quarterback. Like, I don't, I know that he's clearly a much better prospect than Shador was, but man, I don't see so much of a difference that I would, hell yeah, I'll take him, second overall to take over for Shador. I just don't see that.
Well, the thing that I think works in his favor is he did not have a superstar supporting cast in terms of weapons. Like, he put dudes in the right positions. Did not play a whole lot of favorites.
Yeah.
He's a throw to the open guy type guy. Like, there's a lot of things where I see coaches go, he knows how to run an offense. Again, the pocket stuff, dealing with pressure, dealing with the blitz, those are areas he has to get a lot better. And I think if he does that, he'd be a real problem. But there's just a lot he still needs to do.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too. When a kid's coming from a higher level program, but he struggles with pressure and he needs to get better at having answers and stuff, that scares the hell out of me for the league, dude. That scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, I mean, from here, yes, but he's also going to have a brutal schedule. He's going to prove again. He's got Oklahoma State.
He's got a full season to get
Ohio
better.
State. He's got. I think they play Indiana again. Presumably, they're going to be a playoff team. They may win the Big Ten.
Yeah,
he's going to get test after test after test that will give you a pretty clear picture of what you think of him, one way or the other.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see here. Number 5 on Todd McShay's list is Arch Manning.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you? And you said you only did the top 4 and you got everybody else in a cluster. Well,
I can sit there and go, I like redshirt sophomore court. When they decide to declare, I'll be more interested. I'm going to watch.
Yeah, of course.
But it's just not. I'm not going to sit there and fall in love with a kid who I can virtually guarantee is going to go back to college.
And especially with the NIL, a redshirt sophomore, it would have to be such a ridiculously unique scenario for them to. Because why would you? As you pointed out, you're going to get $1 million payday. You're going to be big man on campus for another year. You're basically, it's like you're going to have a safety net beneath you. The NFL will chew you up and spit you out, and if you struggle, you're absolute toast. College is a little bit easier, so to speak. I don't know.
I mean, and again, you get the way it's set up. Like, man, we're talking about like 5 quarterbacks who could all end up 5 quarterbacks who we think are going to be factors in next year's NFL draft or 2020.
And they could all go back.
They're all going to be in the playoff. Could all be in the playoff.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Our list we haven't even touched. We haven't really because McShay did Sellers and you had Maava, and then there's Sorsby and there's Julian Sayin, but he's another redshirt sophomore.
Yes.
Now, what do you think about there's a contingent of Ohio State fans that think Sayin is going to come out after this season because the new recruit is going to force him out, basically.
There is a scenario where there are people that believe that Ohio State is essentially going to push Julian Sand out because they want to get Taven St. Clair
Yeah.
on the field sooner than later. But Julian Sand knows how to run the offense. He's really efficient. Obviously, he's got to get better from the stuff we saw against Miami. How he's got to get bigger if he can, stronger, more decisive, and have better answers for teams that are made up of NFL dudes. And obviously, some people sit there and go, "Well, he had Jeremiah Smith, and he had Carnell Tate, and he had Max Clare, and he had all these guys." Now, I still think he's really, really good. It's just a question is he going to be? I don't want to say he's Ken Dorsey, but like you know where I'm going in terms of very, very smart.
Yeah.
Understands what he's supposed to do, but
Ultimately limited.
More, yeah. Ultimately, leaving you wanting more. Now he could win a national championship with that, but again, this is another one where I think this year should tell us a lot.
Yeah.
They get Indiana again. They get USC. I think they get Oregon. You know, more games, again, playoff games.
Well, and the whole country knows his style of play now, knows what he likes to do and how he likes to do it. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the country responds to him and how he in turn responds to their, adjustments.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's seen it. Everybody has some idea of how they're going to play him differently. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith is still there. They will have more weapons. They will have talent, but can they do enough to sort of disrupt him? That's going to be the question. And does he have answers to that? And the physical stuff's going to be a question unless he's bigger and stronger. So he of the redshirt sophomore quarterbacks, he is the sort of near the bottom of them for me for all those reasons. But I think he's a tremendous college quarterback.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Let me ask you this now, because again, as I mentioned earlier, the whole reason for me bringing this up, I wanted to do this, was how high Todd McShay had Lenora Sellers. But it's not just McShay. A lot of people have Sellers up that high. We talked about Coach Riz having him as his number one quarterback. And then Munch, the guy that does the show with McShay, I heard him literally saying it's just you can't watch the film and not come away with like, this guy is just so good. And Pete, I don't understand. Like, is that purely talent? Like, is it just talking from a physical perspective? Like, I don't see him play quarterback well. Like,
I think from some of the stuff he does in terms of escaping the pocket and some of that stuff, he could be sanctified on a weekly basis in terms of performing miracles. Like he does at least 3 a week. He also takes a stupid amount of sacks. Like makes sure Sanders look safe in some respects. His pressure to sack rate is atrocious, and it's because he bets on himself because he's so damn gifted. And when he's right and he gets away from these guys and he does the Houdini thing, then he runs for 20 yards. And you're just like,
because
I have no answer for this.
Barreling down the road. Yeah.
And you also have to account for the fact that every so often Lenora Sellers can just rear back and throw it 60 yards on a seam.
Yeah, but Pete, why isn't he Anthony Richardson? Or are you basically just betting on the kid? Because I hear he's a great kid. I hear they love him at the program.
I think that's part of it. I think a lot of people are betting heavy that they're blaming South Carolina's supporting cast for a lot of the issues.
Yeah.
I understand if you do that for a year. If he has the same year this year, I don't know how you deal with it twice.
Yeah.
There's still going to be people who believe in this guy, traits and all that. I mean, and Todd McShay owns this, but he was the ultimate, what's his face, the Jamarcus Russell guy.
Yeah.
Like that was, again, he's got a type. Nothing against him having a type. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's big physical tool guys and saying we can figure this out. I want to see proof. And again, the same thing I said about Arch Manning, he can make the argument for, well, it's going to happen this year. Well, if it does, then Lenore Sellers to get into the conversation would be a lot more interesting. But there are too many plays where you sit there and go, man, what is he looking at? And how much of this is caused by the pressure and how much of this is just dumb football? But again, freaky tools. 20 yards run out of nowhere, 60 yards on a rope for a touchdown. And that's the thing that scares you with him from a defensive standpoint. You can be right, you can be right, you can be right, you can be right, and boom, one play touchdown. Like that's
Yeah.
the threat with the Lenore Sellers.
And at the end of the day, it's Josh Allen, right? It's the whole what if. What if it just works? What if the stars align, he figures it out, and then you have this peak physical specimen and he's good at football on top of it? Like, I get it. I get that draw, but I don't know. You know, it's I can't think of anybody outside of Josh Allen at that position that has done that. Like, you're generally like, if you're inaccurate in college, you're going to be inaccurate at the pros. Like, that's just I don't know.
Unless it's a mechanical issue, which is that's the big takeaway from Josh Allen. His mechanics were awful.
Yeah.
And they were fixed by the Bills. Took a while, but they did it.
Yeah.
So
And he still has that stupid wiring that makes him just, put his head up as you know what when he's got the ball in his hand sometimes.
yes. So and I don't think Lenore Sellers has those issues because wasn't a guy that wasn't recruited that ended up, self-taught or whatever in junior college to Wyoming. Lenore Sellers has been a big deal for years. So it's difficult for you to expect that Lenore Sellers is going to get somewhere and suddenly get fixed. So from that standpoint, I think your hypothesis is more likely to be true, that it's not going to get fixed. I don't really question his accuracy all that much. I think he's actually fine relative to what I expect. More of decision making. It's more of what's he seeing. It's more of those things, and just the amount of
Playing in structure,
betting on himself that can go very, very wrong. So maybe we'll have a better year. Maybe it'll be a more interesting conversation. But there will be guys who are all the way. But if he can't, they were 4-8 last year. Like if they're like 5-7 this year, like forget it. So he's got to basically flip the record or better before this is a real conversation. And it's a tough spot because like their biggest acquisition in the portal with NIL and everything, like was lost for the season in some stupid basketball game. So like there's a worry that they're going to be in the same spot in terms of the offensive line. It's going to be the same stuff. And everybody's going to have this built-in excuse. And I would look at this in the same way I looked at Shedeur Sanders, which is, okay, yeah, the offensive line is bad, but like there's enough here where you sit there and go, I don't know if this is good. Now, I thought Shedeur Sanders was about second-round pick. Maybe that's where I end up with the Sellers, but I see more in terms of elevating the team from Shedeur to this point than I have Sellers. Sellers has incredible ability, but he needs to be that guy. He needs to go out and win football games.
Agreed. How about our old buddy Brendan Sorsby? Do you think it's possible that he goes in the first round next year?
No.
Yeah.
No, I think he's going to end up being like a day 3 prospect.
So that's another thing that I got from this McShay video, or one of them, was the big 3 that everybody's talking about: Sellers, Dante Moore, Brennan Sorsby.
Okay.
That's who he says all his high level execs are. Those are the 3 that everybody's talking about.
Which would be great if Brendan Sorsby could go out and build on his career and he can do better workouts and throw and do some other stuff. But like that experience is a problem. And, we'll see. McShay, and it could be right in the end, but it would not be surprising is the second we start seeing real football games, we see these guys rise up and look great, that out of sight, out of mind, Sorsby's just sort of forgotten about until he shows up to like an all-star game or the combine, and all of a sudden it's, oh, well, look at this guy, because all these other guys are going to have a full, hopefully everybody stays healthy, a full season of football to look at. And like, you forget about these guys and they get pushed to the back burner, which is why I think that the situation for him sucks. Not to say he didn't warrant it, but it just sucks that year of no football other than workout stuff. Like, what do we talk about? Experience and all this stuff. Well, he's losing that, and he wasn't great last year. He was
And now he's
interesting.
taking a year off, a year away from it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big concern. So I'll be curious to see if Todd McShay is saying the same thing when we get to like February and March and April, where everybody's going, yeah, I know we saw all these guys, but they are waiting for Brendan Sorsby. I find that to be difficult to believe, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah. Agreed. How about all right, so there were 3 more names on his list that we haven't covered, and we only have a few more minutes, so I figured I would get your thoughts on some of these guys. So the first one he had at 7, he had Trinidad Chambliss. Now, me personally, I don't see it on the NFL level from him. Personally, I think he's old. I don't think the physical ability is going to be that good on the NFL level. I think he's a nice college quarterback. But I think there's a reason he went back to school, and that's because that's where he's going to make his most money.
That's certainly part of it. I think he could be good. I just think he's more likely to be a backup, and the high end is you're hoping he's Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Maybe with a little more awareness.
Yeah, but isn't he like 6 foot, like sub 200? I didn't think he's
like
that
5'11". I think he's 5'11".
Yeah.
No, but like,
he's at least a tank.
He's a big, thick kid, as is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But he's got a ton of savvy. He's played for been a part of 2 national championship teams at the D2 level. Obviously led Ole Miss to the national championship last year. They lose.
Yeah. Tulane the year before, right? Or was that Mensa Tulane? Who's Tulane? Was that Chambliss?
Mensa was Tulane and Duke.
Yeah, that's who it is. For some reason I had
no, Chambliss was at Ferris State, which is D2, which is up in Michigan. And look, he's got a gamesmanship and an intensity and a mentality that works. But again, I think if there was the interest that was there, especially in last year's class, or I should say this year's class that we just saw, like if there was a time to get in the draft, it was this past year.
Yeah.
So I think you get one. I think there's a real scenario where he could have a less good year because last year he was incredible.
Yeah.
At least down the stretch. Maybe game to game he will be better overall, but like really difficult to duplicate that run. So those are two pieces of this where you sit there and go, he's also going to be 25 or whatever at that point. So I think at that point, it's far more likely he's round 3 or lower as a really good backup for some teams that love what he does, but just is not all that interesting to me. I like the kid, but I don't want him. I necessarily want to draft him.
All right. Now, how about Nico Ayamaleva?
Yeah.
I feel like his off the field and just the whole situation with Tennessee is going to be an interesting conversation this offseason.
A lot has to come down to how much of that was dad.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot was dad. So yeah, that's an interesting question. Obviously, UCLA was in a really big transition this past year. He
turned it on late though, didn't he? Didn't he finish strong?
He got better, but his numbers still were not good. So this year, he's not transferring weirdly timed. He's been here the full offseason, all this stuff. And whether it's warranted or not, maybe it's not quite here yet, UCLA has a ton of buzz. They got a tough schedule. It's going to be so maybe he's going to suddenly have a great year and sort of we're going to be reminded of wow, this was the guy that Tennessee was so enamored with. But it's going to be tough for him. He's got size the teams like. He's got mobility the teams like. But he needs to do a lot to improve himself.
He needs to get stronger. He's a skinny kid.
Yeah, so there's a lot there, but you are betting that UCLA is going to be perhaps better than I think they can be this year. Maybe I'll be surprised.
All right, last but not least, how about John Mateer, who's physically impressive, but kind of
last season was just such a mess because of the broken hand and some of the other stuff. He torched the out of conference schedule. Looked like Baker Mayfield with a rubber arm. in terms of the arm angles and all this stuff, and he would just go for it and be a
tough runner,
playmaker. And then they got the SEC schedule. He immediately gets hurt. He tries to come back early. Looks awful in the Red River Shootout or whatever they're calling it at this point with Texas, and it never really gets back on track. The injury seems to linger. He makes some dumbass decisions at times, but the arm is tempting. The arm is incredible.
I got to tell you, Pete, I'm getting strong Will Levis vibes, and that gets me.
And that's why I said, like, you watch some of it, and I see Baker Mayfield. And you sit there, this is easy to like. But and the same thing, got hurt, fell off a cliff. Different injury situation, but got hurt, fell off a cliff. So hopefully he's healthy. He is healthy heading into this season. So there's reason that some believe that he's going to recapture what they thought he was going to be last year. But again, he beat up on bad competition, looked great.
Yeah.
Needs to be very much better against the SEC this year and really make a name for himself. But Oklahoma's got talent. They've done a really good job of building up the talent base there, so he's got help. So as long as he can stay healthy, the opportunity is there for him to sort of make this thing happen.
All right. Great information. Great show as usual, Pete. Appreciate it. And guys, thank you for sticking with us for the duration. It is always a pleasure. Super excited. Everything's starting tomorrow. Pete, good luck up at camp. I know you'll be working hard and texting me all the cool Shador to Denzel Boston stuff we get to talk about. I'm fired up, man. I appreciate it. Thank you to OBR.com and the OBR streaming network. And guys, I say it every time, training camp kicking off, we're going to have nothing but information pouring out of that website, whether it's the articles or the insider forums. It's definitely worth it. Get over to the OBR.com and check it out. Always a pleasure, man. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next week. Go Browns.